Beruchim habayim, Shalom Aleichem. Moshe Langado, speaking under the auspices of Kollel Ahavat Yisrael in San Diego, California, and Sha'rei Tziyon here in Brooklyn, New York. This week, Parshat EMOR. The Torah gives us many of the laws of the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol. At the beginning, it tells us that the Kohen, the priest, who works in the Beit HaMikdash, cannot come into contact with any corpse besides those of his close relatives. And it starts and tells us that he can go to the funeral for his mother and for his father. Comes Ibn Ezra and asks the question, why is the mother referred to first? Don't we usually say, kabed et avicha v'et imecha? Usually we put the father in front of the mother. How come here the Torah puts EMOR first, then Aviv? The Ibn Ezra gives a very interesting answer. He tells us that in days of old, specifically, the woman's life expectancy was less than that of men. Therefore, more likely, the Kohen would first go and bury his mother. Then later on in his life, he would bury his father. Therefore, mother first, then father. But if we go just read a few more verses, we come to the Kohen Gadol. And when it discusses the Kohen Gadol, there it says, his father, then his mother. If the female sex is the weaker sex as far as life expectancy, shouldn't also say by the Kohen Gadol, first the mother, then the father? Such is the question posed by some of the great Jewish thinkers. Before we answer that question, let us tell you a story. Of course, we understand, just like the Kohen is connected to his parents, both his mother and his father, every Jew, every person has a deep connection to his parents. A love, a respect, an honor, that's only natural. And the son and the daughters continue the legacy of their parents. There is an unbelievable story concerning Rabbi Akiva. And this is the time of year to study Rabbi Akiva and his life. For Rabbi Akiva, during this time of year, lost 24,000 students. And for that reason, we as a nation have a mourning period between Pesach and Shavuot, different customs. But during that time, we do have a mourning period, which we do not get married, which we do not take haircuts, we do not listen to music. Rabbi Akiva is a very powerful personality in the Jewish thought, and especially at this time of year. Rabbi Akiva one day was walking through the ruins of Jerusalem. And as he was walking, what did he notice? He noticed a black man working tirelessly, chopping wood, bringing wood back and forth. And Rabbi Akiva said, "Stop, let me speak to you. Who are you?" And the man refused to stop. He continued working. And Rabbi Akiva in his frustration said, "Demon, stop, let me talk to you." And all of a sudden, this black form stopped and said, "Rabbi, yes, I am a demon. How did you know?" And Rabbi Akiva was just using it as out of frustration. He said, "So who are you?" He said, "I can't talk because the powers who make me work will be upset." He said, "What do you mean?" Akiva asked. He said, "I am a lost soul and I am dead. But my punishment is every day to chop and gather trees. And with those very trees which I chop, in the evening I am burnt to a cinder. And again, every morning, I come back to life, and again I must chop the trees. And Rabbi Akiva said, soul, is there no end to your suffering? And the soul answered, Rabbi, it seems not. For I heard in heaven that the only way that I could break this cycle is if I had a son who would say Kaddish for me. And Rabbi Akiva said, in your life, you didn't have any children? He said, Rabbi, my name is Ukba, and my wife was Shoshiva, and we were bad people. I passed away, my wife is still living. And as I died, my wife was pregnant with child. I do not know what happened to him. Rabbi Akiva thought for himself. He said, my friend Ukba, I take it on myself to look for your child. And Rabbi Akiva went. And that demon told Rabbi Akiva that his city was the city of Lanuka. And Rabbi Akiva went to Lanuka. And he came to the city and he asked, does anybody here remember Ukba? And they answered, Ukba, Arasha, what would a rabbi want from him? Thank God, let his bones rot in hell. Rabbi Akiva said, shh, don't talk like that about a person who passed away. He says, do you know his wife? His wife is worse than him. Did she ever have a son? He says, yes. And that son is a spitting image of his father and his evil ways. Rabbi Akiva said, take me to him. And they took him to the son. And he saw a horrible person, unlearned, uncouth. And he started telling Rabbi, we don't want you here. What are you doing here? And Rabbi Akiva said, come to me and let me teach you Aleph Bet so you could read. And the man did not want to study. And Rabbi Akiva fasted for 40 days. And his fast had some sort of effect on this young man. And he started to study. And he taught him Aleph Bet. And he taught him how to pray. And he taught him Kriyat Shema. And finally taught him Kaddish. And he took him to the synagogue. And the young man started to say Kaddish for his father who passed away. Rabbi Akiva told him, young man, for the sake of your father and for the sake of your soul, continue saying Kaddish. Continue reading the Torah. And the young man said, Rabbi, thank you, I will. That night, Rabbi Akiva went back home, and he had a dream. And in the dream, the father came to him and told him, Rabbi Akiva, you have saved my soul. I have been allowed to start my journey back to Gan Eden. And Rabbi Akiva was happy. My friends, what a story. Rabbi Akiva could have said Kaddish. No, but there's nothing like the connection between a father and a son, a mother and daughter, parents and their children. They are the ones who could do what? Could affect change. It is our greatest responsibility to honor and respect our parents, be it if we are so lucky to have them alive, or even after they passed away, to be able to honor their memory. For that is of great, great wealth to us and to the soul of the departed. And now let's go back to the Kohen. The Kohen has a connection to his father. He has a connection to his mother, it's true. And we said that the mother is listed first by the Kohen, but by the Kohen Gadol, the father is listed first. Why? And I'll tell you why. The Ebenezer is correct, that maybe the woman is most likely to pass away early in days of old. But not if this young man was going to be a Kohen Gadol. Because if this young man was going to be a Kohen Gadol, how was he going to become that office of the high priest? He would have inherited it from his father, who was the high priest himself and who passed away. Therefore, the first thing that will take place will his father pass away, and then he will be the high priest. Therefore, the first person who will pass away in his life as a Kohen Gadol is his father. My friends, let us take the lesson to heart, how powerful our connection to our parents are, and how we must live their legacy. Shabbat Shalom.